Hello, back again, and I think I'm ready for Quadriga. I really want to have some kill moves before I go in there. Hang on. I was gonna go there, but let's take a look here. So we got 1935. Yeah, they're a good ways off still. As far as why, essentially, when they go in there, there's a very good chance that they're, well, immediately they're going to have no way to handle exorcisms aside from Kashua. So she can be fed leaves in order to, you know, kind of handle that problem, but, I mean, they should be able to out-heal the damage they get. The thing is, he has essentially unlimited, unlimited summons, but if I can... Thinking if they slowly work their way up... You know what? Screw it. Let's give it a shot. Dicks. Okay. Let's take Misk... No, I need Mosquito here. Let's take Toots out of this one. There we are. Speed through this one. Yeah, email comes in on my phone. I'm sitting here hoping it's the one I'm waiting for. Of course it's not. It's never the one I'm waiting for. That's the annoying part of self-employment. It's like you get to those days where it's like, I just want that one email to come in. Like that one friggin' email that'll end up coming in and just changing the entire week and month. Like, oh, whoops. My bad. Sorry, you. Whatever your name is. Alright. This Wizardlington is the first one that has to go. Hi, Derwin. You have evolved into dead. Yes, I know, that's Darwin. Oh, whatever. But, you know. Just kind of sitting here waiting for emails a lot of the time. Because, like, you make a sale, usually you want a follow-up sale. Just, like, sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting. It's like, when has follow-up? So just sit and wait. And eventually, it comes. Or it doesn't. And then you have to come up with a plan B at the last minute. But you can't execute that plan B without knowing that plan A is going to fail. Those are the ones that are super annoying, I'd say. It's like where you have a situation where, you know, you have alternate plans, but you can't start them because doing so would end up pretty much guaranteeing a much easier one fails. Excuse me? Okay, he's got full armor, so yeah, that makes sense. I see Steve is gonna have to work on his beef. That's a problem, isn't it? Always with your problems. There we are. Yeah, sorry for the sudden silence there. Just trying to figure stuff out in my brain parts, and it's got the speed of AOL, so it takes a minute. There we are. I think, at the very least, if I can get Speed Star on everyone, that would solve a lot of problems. Or not everyone, but at least the ones that need it. Like Steve, for example. Yeah. Although there's so much thought put into that all of a sudden. And nope. Stumble. I was kind of tempted to see what would happen if I gave them the old Snapdragon things, but they can't get those items anyway. Oh, and yeah, I was kind of deciding on this earlier, but yeah, I think once we get to POTD, and just in general, money and all that won't be a factor of the game anymore. So, essentially at that point I'm going to turn on the whole guaranteed 100% drops and everything, which I believe causes every single thing they can drop to drop. I could be wrong on that, and if I am, please correct me, but I think that's how that works. There we are. He's just gonna run around mugging people. That sounds about right. These frontliners are weird, because they do slightly more damage with a stick, but is it really worth the RT? That's kind of been the question. Alright, perfect. He's done what I was hoping he would do and gotten himself into easy crossbow range that I can still pull that guy back. Okay, that's a problem. Alright, Vin, I know you're not in terrible shape yourself here, but Rapari's in even worse shape. Or not in fantastic shape, I should say. Oh, by the way, I got asked it a while ago. Wait, what? Oh, it's because you're throwing a rock. I got asked it a while ago, as far as who the hell Crossback is, and what they're doing here. So, it isn't a thing that a whole lot of people played, but Armored Core 3, it's one of my absolute favorites of all time. So, in it, there's essentially a point where there's kind of a background conspiracy for a while. And, well, at first, that conspiracy picks a guy named Crossback to be their head pilot, and so in this series there's like mechs and that sort of thing. But yeah, basically all these mechs are functioning as mercenaries, more or less. They just have like a whole roster of them, they get hired out, and the whole deal is that they can't ever side with any particular corporation or whatever else, the, you know, whatever organization's around at the time. Usually it's headed by an AI. It pretty much just has one rule, and that's just you can't go and exclusively align yourself with somebody, or else there's a problem. And they actually have an entire game based around people doing that and it causing problems. But, it's actually funny. That's the only one where they attempt to actually off your character with a missile friggin' salvo. Any dang ways, point being, in the third one, there's this whole conspiracy going on to, you know, try to shut down the respective giant computer that's running everything, because that's basically always the plot. And they're like, well, whatever stuff we're doing isn't working, so we gotta go break it. And, yeah, the first person that the conspiracy goes with is a guy named Crossback. Or Doral, his AC is called Crossback. It's just that, you know, Doral sounds dumb, so Crossback it is. Right, you are still silenced. Well, at any rate, he sucks. Like, he sucks to a pretty completely comical degree. And it's mostly because he takes every aspect of what would be otherwise useful mechanics in the game and uses them completely wrong. So, like, let's say his main loadout, for example, your slots in it are essentially... Oh, well, crap. You have a right-hand main weapon, which is just, by and large, that's the thing that you're going to be relying on, almost always. You got your left-hand kind of secondary, which is usually something like a blade or a shield or that kind of thing. You have your... actually, they can only be howitzers, blades, shields, and flamethrowers for that one. And a wave blade, if you count that as its own thing. But yeah, so shields are by far the most useful, or useless, in that one. This is largely because their consumption, you have like this constant energy thing you gotta manage. Their consumption does not fit with the amount of defense that they give you, which is pretty negligible. Actually, in some cases, it just flat out doesn't work. So you're basically trading away your mobility and your ability to attack stuff for a defensive move that doesn't defend right. Well, that's useful enough as it is, or useless enough as it is. But he picks hands down the worst primary weapon in the game, which is basically this little, like, SMG-looking thing that is somehow worse than the one that you start with. I mean, the thing doesn't even have enough shots to accomplish pretty much anything. It goes for the inside parts, which are, you have like a thing built into your shoulder more or less, and usually it's stuff like you launch a decoy for a missile or something like that. He goes for mines. Mines are not very good at all. But the ones that he goes for are essentially scatter mines, which are pretty much just, they're referred to as poop mines. I mean, they just, like, vomit out a pile of mines in front of you. They are never useful as actual mines. They're useful as kind of a last-ditch shotgun thing, if you've been keeping track of which shoulder you're using, because it alternates shoulders. So it takes forever to reload this thing, so you're basically stuck doing nothing for a while. And the only time that it can be useful is if you're basically shoulder checking somebody at the time. Like, it's a game that moves pretty fast, and you basically have to be shoulder checking somebody with a stupid thing in order for it to work. But it's his only thing that can actually do real damage to anything. And then his last item, since his, like, secondary... okay, he has a couple other things on him. So he's got, like, rockets on the back, which are the only thing that don't lock on to anything. And lock-ons are one of the main mechanics of the game, so you're basically stuck without any way to lock onto things. Personally, I love rockets, but, you know, most people don't. Most people never went and tried to do the entire series using only rockets, which was an interesting run. But basically that means in a game where everything's moving super fast, you're manually firing all the time. Like, in a place where lock-on became pretty much a necessity. Uh-oh. Okay, you know what? I don't even... Actually, you know what? When's Vin's turn? Yeah, no, we have enough rounds. We have enough damage. Like I said, we have no real anti-armor. But yeah, point being, so, uses that. Uses the... basically the weakest and lowest ammunition capacity ones. So it's essentially like a friggin' pistol that fires 40 times and it's done for a giant mech. Like, it's not really going to carry you very far. It works, but not very well. And then lastly is this thing called an EO, or an Exceed Orbit, which... I don't even know how to describe it. It's like... It's kind of like a chest gun kind of thing. It's like, it pops out of your, like, main fuselage kind of thing, and it's just like this little hovering pod thing, which just automatically picks something and shoots at it. So it's the weakest one, which is still not a problem. It's actually arguably my favorite one. And it recharges over time, so it's the only thing that allows a run with him to even be viable, because otherwise he would run out of shots before he can ever even do anything useful. But... yeah, his turn's coming up very soon. Please have enough damage. We're gonna find out right here. First off. Yeah, there's a potential for enough damage here. Alright, back to this thing. So, yeah. It's not very good. It's... Their whole shtick is just evading and plinking and hoping for the best. And... alright, this is... I don't know why I think throwing a rock would help. How much can you stick whack? Not enough. And all of these tiles are going to give the same, so now Vin is getting evacuated. There we are. And yeah, to answer one of the questions from yesterday, yes, all revivals are replaced with evacuations, except for one that was picked up by Spellblades, which is basically a revive move, except that got changed to single target and medium range now. It previously had been the entire map and just brings everybody that was down back up, which was a little bit overpowered. Oh, also I forgot to give Pari his other ring. There we are. Alright. Now then... give this crap a go. I don't even know why I saved it there. I kind of doubt it's gonna crash. Alright, yeah, I think we'll go with Toots. What is April? They're melee. Alright, I want bow supports. I do want crossbows, so those are gonna stay. I got melee, ranged. Alright, we'll try it. And yeah, to finish the thought from earlier, yeah, he's a guy that just sucks. No, murder mode. Also, all things considered, I don't think Steve would be saying these things, because he's probably done the same things. Alright, 9, 4. Okay, we have a chance. We got a mild experience advantage here. Now, each of them, in reality, have essentially 3 jump, because hover, as I understand, gives them 1 extra ability, so they should, with some reasonable speed, be able to go up here. Now, what I want to do is kind of create a stalemate around here, and see about getting the crossbows up around here. Essentially having somebody feeding Kashua to have her doing her thing, and then hopefully have the crossbows kind of slowly work their way over and plink Nibbith. So we'll see if that works. It's unlikely, but worth a shot. And yeah, to make a 4th attempt at completing the thought I was trying to make earlier. For this whole conspiracy thing that they're going at, they basically pick this guy that's just like hands down the worst. And then, well, you're basically given a job by the computer in charge, more or less. They're like, oh, there was totally an earthquake, go check out this thing. And then you get there and it's like, yeah, there was definitely no earthquake here. And they're even mentioning it on the radio, like, this is a load of crap, isn't it? Totally just here to deal with this conspiracy. So, you do that anyway, because it's your job, you have no choice, it's a whole dystopian future. And he shows up, doesn't even show up repaired, he shows up at half health, basically has no... well, he's got no threat to speak of. There was a time, not even one time, there were several times that I went there, essentially just stood in place to see if he could actually do anything. And he's just like dancing around, doing all these maneuvers, runs out of actual shots before even accomplishing anything. It's like he literally just renders himself harmless before he can actually be a threat. And it's not like it's, you go there and you're like, oh, here's all this other unreasonable stuff, it's something you gotta deal with. No, you get there. It's like a mid-boss kind of a fight. He's supposed to be a big deal. And, he's not at all. Alright, you know what? Let's move you over here. Start burninating some of these folks. Wait, what? Okay, I meant to have you launch a fireball, but that works too. That works too. You go ahead and poison this one. He's got, like, no penetration on his fist at all. I'm sure there's some commentary to be made there. You'd think after all the previous experiences there would have been plenty of penetration on that fist, but whatever. Anyway, so, to finish up the story, attempt number 5, you end up offing this guy before there's any actual threat whatsoever. He's absolutely nothing, but then later on you end up working for the same group anyway, and they seem to have discovered competence, because they're like, hey, why don't we hire somebody that isn't trash? And then they do. However, I have gone through and beaten the entire thing, including the arena, using only that guy. Which was probably one of the longer runs I'd ever attempted. So I haven't gone and, tried to make a series on it yet. Because it took, like, 3 months, I want to say. And kind of doing other stuff, so, eh. Maybe someday. Like one of those things I would literally only be doing for other people to show off because, I've already done it, so... Not terribly keen on reproving something I already know. Whoa. That is some friggin' hurt from you. You're going, Toots. I mean, so far so okay. Not doing a good job of getting... at this point, it doesn't even matter if it's a crossbow. If I can get 2 of anything around that corner, that'll basically solve our problems. Because waiting for exorcisms to happen is probably not going to happen. Especially since she's probably not even going to do any exorcisms. She's just repeatedly going to go and try to heal units that are injured, even though I have healers. Alright, we lost one. Is it bum rush time yet? Like I said, not exercising. He doesn't believe in fitness. Alright, crossback is down. I think we're just gonna have Steve try and bum rush it. The AI shouldn't really target him as much because he's quite a bit better... he's quite a bit more durable than the others. Not necessarily better to any degree, but he's tankier. So unless range is a concern, they shouldn't target him as much. Try to take out that one, so he's got some space. I wish I could turn Vice into a monk, but no such luck. Dead. Ish. And I know I point this out all the frickin' time, but yeah. Massive level difference, not making a huge difference stat-wise. That will continue to diminish as time goes on. The actual difference compared to the original, I should probably clarify. I mean, they are able to hurt more things, but this is still basically double the level at this kind of juncture, Alright, there we go. Still, those misses are going to be more and more unforgiving as time goes on. Finally, thank you. Only because nobody else was in range. Oof. Yeah, that's the problem of hover versus fly, right there. Right, he's gonna need some help. Hopefully we can get through this thing without requiring an evac. Because pretty much I don't want the same thing to start happening that was happening in the other run, where basically everything just ran out. There we are. Get them all well and up there, and I was hoping to see if he'd be able to pull off a steal on his way up, but no such luck. but I think we should be good. We got a couple people through. And at this point, everyone just kind of needs to hold off. Or hold out, rather. Thankfully, their speed is really starting to show. There we go. Yeah, not a problem. Not nearly as much of a problem as I was expecting. But it's better not to incur the stuff that you were expecting than have to deal with it repeatedly. Even the weather improved. It knows. And it looks like Mosquito 3-2 is having issues. So now, I've seen it mentioned several times, you know, that they could never program in how to make the AI go and use reviving items. Yeah, no, I'm very, very certain that was intentional. Just because if you've ever played the original, they would just mass friggin' dump those things as soon as you put them into training mode. I mean, they would just use their normal AI, so pretty much if you let the AI use these things, all they would do is go and revive people all the time. Which may get very annoying, and actually might cause the game to break in half, because, you know, you have a bunch of guys suddenly trying to repeatedly revive somebody that's knocked to the ground, or in this case evacuate everyone, when they could be doing far more useful things. You know, I don't think that was any form of accident whatsoever. Atavulge. I can't use it though. Dickery. Blocking the one spot I need to get to. Thankfully, he's not as tanky as he is in the other versions. While he is pretty tanky because the way the damage goes in this, he doesn't effectively become as tanky as he could potentially be in base game, and especially how he was in the original. Oh boy. I don't know why they decided to make wizards out of friggin' metal in the original version. Like, especially that old lady. Like, the old lady that guards Almorica sometimes. That lady was just practically invincible and one-shotting people. It was dumb. But, meh. Higher damage, higher armor ends up making armor count for more. It's a good design philosophy. I feel anyway. Posh. No poison though. Steal? Can't steal. Probably still train the skill a little bit though.